So if you're wondering where exactly on the pig the ham is, it's like this part. I didn't land it. One more time. It's like this part.
Hey everybody, it's Brooke.
And Justin.
And you really can't talk about Easter dinner without talking about ham. Nobody goes to an Easter gathering and expects for there not to be ham, so you gotta have a ham, okay? But lucky for you and for us, it's the absolute easiest centerpiece meat that you will ever make.
It's the definition of like set it and forget it. And luckily, you literally can't undercook it. It's already cooked. So truly, it's like foolproof. Your kid could make it.
We're gonna tell you everything that you need to know about ham, from how much to buy, what kind of ham to get, and even what to do with the leftovers. So buckle up.
Let's get into it.
It's ham time. In addition to being super duper easy, the ham is also absolutely delicious. And the delicious part of it is the fact that we make our own glaze. After you brush the glaze on the already cooked ham, stick it in the oven and let that glaze seep through and really deeply flavor the ham. Today we've got apricots, brown sugar, bourbon.
It's gonna get super caramelized and add like a decent level of balance and sweetness to a very salty dish. It's kind of that thing that makes you want to eat ham on the holidays. It's kind of exactly what I think of when I think of things like Thanksgiving, Easter.
Honestly, the only reason I'm really here today is for the crust that's gonna be on top of the ham when it comes out of the oven, so you will catch me eating all of that. First things first, you gotta take the ham out of the refrigerator.
Catch.
Oh my God. Gotta take the ham out of the refrigerator to let it come to room temperature for about an hour. Well, it won't be exactly room temperature, but you wanna knock some of that chill off so that it's not uneven when you get into the oven.
It's also just gonna reduce your cook time a bit.
Let's open the ham net.
I love how they present. Oh, I was just gonna tear into it
You're
like
gonna
an
tear
animal.
into it like a barbarian? No, it's so neatly tied.
Like we just put turkeys in such unceremonial little bags, but this has like a nice little net.
It's so special. Look at this gold wrapper. Also important to note, this is what we call a city ham. Do not try to use a country ham for this. Country ham is very salty, and if you stick it in the oven, it doesn't matter how much glaze you put on it and you slice it up and you give it to people, they're gonna think you can't cook.
Imagine like baking a prosciutto.
Literally the same thing. It's a bad
It's a salt bomb.
Don't do it.
Second thing we want to warn against. Most hams come with a packet like this. It's gonna be like ham glazed with honey and seasoning. I don't even know what's in this. There's a lot of chemical-y names on this package, so we're not gonna use it. We're gonna make our own, as we said before.
This buddy is a spiral cut ham, which means that it's already pre-cut. It's exactly what the name implies, which is the easiest route to go by far. The only way this could get easier is if we went for a boneless ham instead of a bone-in ham. This one's bone-in, but don't worry, we're gonna show you how to cut around the bone. When you're shopping for your ham, you wanna make sure you have about 3/4 of a pound to a pound per person. That's for bone-in ham. If you're going with boneless ham, that's fine, but you wanna do about 1/2 pound per person instead. If you're not sure how much the ham weighs because it's not indicated on the packaging, befriend your grocery store clerks, your butcher, and ask them for help. Those are your local helpers. They will help you, I promise. This ham is about 8-ish pounds, and it does have a bone in it, like I said. You can sort of see the bone protruding out of the back. And then it's also going to jut down and come through the middle of the ham here. It's behind this little sheet of meat there. But you could also see, this is a spiral cut ham, so it's already cut. It's already cut. Half the work's already done, guys.
You do that ham card shuffle.
A little ham card shuffle in there, so you guys can see all the hammy layers.
Not only is it great that it's pre-sliced for serving, but all those little cracks make it amazing for all the glaze to get in there, get some caramelized sugary bits all throughout the entire thing.
We've got the ham in the pan, and before we get going with our glaze, all those caramel crusty bits Justin was talking about, we're gonna pat the ham dry first just to relieve it of whatever weird package juices it was sitting in, because we don't want that in the glaze.
When making your own glaze for ham, I like to think about this formula in my head, which is like some form of fruit preserves plus some form of mustard plus some form of booze. That's like, and then also brown sugar. That's a very good formula for making something absolutely delicious. In this case, and I think this is like a very classic and amazing example, it's gonna be apricot preserves, Dijon mustard, and bourbon. But people like use rum with ham. People,
Yeah.
like, honestly, you could use tequila
You
with
can use
ham.
rum, you can use tequila. I'd stay away from something that's not super flavored, like vodka.
Vodka.
Or a gin ham would be weird.
Yeah,
Don't-
gin ham.
don't
Oh
make a gin
no. Now I want to try a gin ham.
So make a gin ham.
Okay.
But one more thing, in addition to, well, instead of brown sugar, you could also use honey or maple syrup if you're looking for a different kind of sweetness profile. And to make the glaze, literally all you do is mix all of these ingredients together and then brush it onto the ham. So we've got Dijon mustard, apricot jam, light brown sugar, a little crushed red pepper, and of course, some bourbon.
A good glug.
A good glug or two of bourbon. We'll leave that up to you.
It should be something that's like drizzleable and brushable, so you can always add more booze accordingly. This definitely does smell a little boozy, but in a really delicious way.
That's why I'm doing all this leaning.
Like complemented with the apricot and everything. It will cook off. It won't taste boozy on the final product. You're just gonna get that like light whiskey note. It's really good though.
I actually want some bread, and I'm just gonna dip it in that.
I could chug it. Okay. I could, but I'm not gonna.
We should.
We're gonna use it.
Okay.
Don't hurt yourself.
Core.
Whoa!
Sorry.
Damn.
That was aggressive. It's ham glazing time. The only tool you need to get the glaze onto your ham is a pastry brush like this one. You can use silicone, you can use a regular bristle brush, all fine. I like this one because it's yellow and it reminds me of Easter and it makes me feel festive.
And they're easier to clean.
And they're easier to clean, which always helps. All you're gonna do is literally just brush the glaze all over the ham. Make sure you get in between each of those little spiral slices that we showed you. Get all across the front of the ham, all across the back of the ham. Only thing to remember is don't use all the glaze on this first pass. Once the ham is in the oven, you're gonna come back every 30 minutes and baste with a little bit more glaze.
And don't like skimp on this. Like this is the moment where we're adding most of the flavor to this very delicious salty ham. So the more time you spend getting in between those layers, the better it's gonna be.
This beauty is all glazed up and ready to go. We have one more step before we throw it in the oven though.
I have 2 cups of water. I'm gonna add that to the bottom of our roasting pan. Don't try to make a mess like I am a little bit. That's just gonna add a little bit of much needed moisture. We're gonna tent this with foil, so that's gonna keep things from drying out. This is a big piece of meat after all. We're gonna be cooking it for maybe 2 hours, so we can have a little bit of a tendency to dry out. So adding that little bit of water helps to prevent that.
That foil is gonna come off in about the last 30 minutes of baking, so we can let the glaze get nice and crispy and crusty and caramelized on top.
All right, muscles, get it in the oven. This has been preheating to 350 degrees. You're gonna want it on a middle rack, and this is gonna cook for about 1.5 hours to 2 hours. There's not really a temp that you're looking for, because at the end of the day, this is cooked already. So we just want everything heated fully through.
Yeah, if you do feel like you really need a temp, maybe 140 is about what you're looking for. But the most important part about it being in the oven is that you gotta baste it every 30 minutes. You wanna get in there, get the rest of that glaze that you have left over, brush another coating on top of your ham.
We're building layers of flavor and caramelization.
After your ham comes out of the oven and cools down a little bit, you can cut the slices away from the ham bone by taking a sharp knife and gently cutting around the bone so that the slices fall off in even pieces. It smells like Easter plus a distillery in here, honestly, with this bourbon and the apricot and the glaze. And on top of that, it smells like a really, really good ham. So I think we're both really excited.
Also, it's just pretty incredible to see what this looks like. Like this big, like beautiful spiral ham just fanned out, just begging to be sliced into. Super,
that
super.
crispy crust on top and all that glaze dripping down. I'm making my own mouth water, so I'm gonna...
Let's do it.
Did you hear that crunch that I got? You heard that glaze crunch?
That's that caramelization. And I have some more tender inner pieces, and it's like so beautifully cooked and tender, and like we did our effort to get in there with the glaze so it's nice and balanced, sweet and salty.
This is a little bit sweet from that apricot and that brown sugar glaze, but then also we've got a little bit of earthiness and a little bit of richness from the bourbon, which I personally really appreciate. And then that mustard. Let me talk about the mustard really quick. So since you have things that are just inherently sweet, when bourbon reduces, it gets sweeter. When the jam reduces, that's gonna get sweeter. When the sugar reduces, that's gonna get sweeter. But the mustard, that's gonna cut through all that sweetness so you get something balanced that's not just ham sugar.
A zing of mustard.
A little zing of mustard. The mustard is very important, don't skip it. The best part about making a massive ham like this is the fact that you will have leftovers. Don't try to eat all the ham on Easter, it's okay.
Impossible.
We do this for the leftovers, that's why we're here. So what we're gonna do with these leftovers is make a ham, egg, and cheese pizza that's going to be absolutely perfect for brunch. We've got our ham leftovers, and this ham, egg, and cheese breakfast pizza could not be any simpler. Got store-bought dough. We're gonna roll that out into a circle, drizzle a little bit of olive oil on top, and brush that into an even layer. Then we're gonna add our mozzarella cheese and a little sprinkle of that leftover ham. We're going to then crack a few eggs onto the pizza, finish it with a little black pepper, then bake it at 425 for 15 minutes. When it comes out and it's nice and melty and hot, we're gonna hit it with a little bit of fresh parsley.
I love an eggy pizza.
I don't think I've ever had an eggy pizza.
Is that true?
I think it's true.
Ooh, man. It's
I'm really
honestly,
excited.
it's like a revelation.
I'm not gonna lie, that's part of why I picked this recipe for the leftovers.
It's also low-key, like, actually Italian. I think they do put eggs on pizza.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. All right, let's do it. Boop. Cheers. The amount of black pepper you put on this is so incredible.
I'm the queen of black pepper. But I'm kind of sad for myself because I took a really big bite to try to get to the yolk and I still didn't
And you
get
missed it. Go again.
So I have a mouthful of pizza and no yolk. So
Go
I'm
again.
gonna
Oh!
Oh no.
A yolk catastrophe.
He's a messy Marvin. I'm gonna do one more bite.
There you go. Whoa!
Oh.
So in addition to those like breakfasty classic flavors we're getting from the pizza itself, that ham is bringing in the bourbon and the apricot. It's kind of like a maple syrup situation where we're getting that sweet on the savory. It's so good.
We got a little brown sugar in there on the ham, which is kind of, it's just literally like breakfast on a pizza. I know we've said that 1,000 times, but it's kind of like if you had like maple glazed bacon or something alongside your eggs, the exact same thing. So let me tell y'all the real secret with bone-in ham. Take the bone when you're done and use it to make soups, stews, broths, use it to flavor your greens, your beans, all that stuff. We did a great job today. I'm gonna go ahead and pat us on the back. We got that delicious ham, this beautiful ham, egg, and cheese pizza. And if you're looking for recipes like this for Easter, head on over to delish.com.